Welcome to class. It's going to be a 10 to 15 minute class for feet. So if you come off the mountain and you're like, oh my God, my feet are killing me, save this one if that's you all the time. I'm going to have you guys all come into a tabletop position really quick. We're going to start here facing the front of the mat. Beautiful. From here, we're just going to make some circles in our ankles. So go ahead, lift your feet up off the mat, making some circles in one direction. And as always, be dramatic. And then the other direction. And you can just go from one direction to the other. You can point your feet. You can flex your feet. Good. You can grab something with your toes or pretend to. Yes. Beautiful. From here, we're gonna go into a downward dog with the focus of the ankle joint. So go ahead, tuck your toes, send your hips up to the ceiling, and see what kind of angle you can get out of your ankles. You can pedal your feet out, one and then the other, getting a little bit more from the calves. And as always, breathe. More moments here. When you're ready, find stillness in downward dog and come up as high onto your tippy toes as possible. Tippy, tippy, tippy toes. Yes. And then drop your heels back down. And then go back and forth through that a couple times. Tippy toes, tippy, tippy, tippy. Yes. And then back down. Good. A couple more times. Two more. And last one. Beautiful. After that last downward dog, go ahead, come back down onto your hands and knees, tabletop position. From here, we're gonna sit onto our heels actually. So press yourself all the way back, sit onto your heels, walk your hands all the way to your knees, and so you stand or you sit up. So at the moment, we are toes together, big toes together, tops of the feet are on the floor. Now this can be really intense for some people. So if this is too intense for you, go ahead and grab a towel, a sweatshirt, and roll it up and just put it underneath your ankle joint, and that should give you some relief. Good. Beautiful. While we're here, let's do a little bit of a chest opener. So you can either stay here and give me a cactus with your chest, or I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to see if Mark can do it. Putting the hands behind you on the ground, making your chest proud. This might be a little bit more intense on the feet. Good, and breathe. Yeah, looking up towards the ceiling. And if you need more, by all means, if you don't, just stop here. But if you need more, you can always try to lift your knees up off the ground, going into even more so of that plantar flexion. Good. Beautiful. If your hands are behind you or in the cactus pose, go ahead, slowly come back to center. Beautiful. Put your hands out in front of you, come off of your heels, and then flex your toes. Putting your, what should I say? Tuck your toes. That's the word. Tuck your toes under, and we're going to do the same thing, but make sure all 10 toes are tucked. So even your little pinky toes, sometimes those get missed. Make sure they're tucked. And then when you're ready, same thing. Sit your butt onto your heels. Sit up. Woohoo! Okay, this can also be pretty intense because it's stretching the under part of the foot. But if you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't feel anything, you can always walk your knees one step forward and then take a seat back, and you'll feel it a whole lot more. And breathe. Remember, when you hold your breath, you hold your progress. So just take a second. Breathe here. Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, come back into a tabletop position. Lift your feet up off the mat, and again, circles, grabs with the toes, point and flex, whatever feels good. Beautiful. Now, when you're ready, go ahead, tuck your toes and send it up into a downward facing dog, just for a second. Good. From here, walk your feet all the way to your hands, coming into a forward fold. And you can hang here just for a second. We're not focusing on the hamstrings or low back today, but it's always a nice little bonus, so just breathe. You can sway side to side or stay still, totally up to you. And if you're swaying, go ahead, find that stillness, bend into your knees as you roll up one vertebrae at a time. And at the top, big inhale, swoop your arms all the way up. Exhale, spread your fingers nice and wide. Good. Okay, we're standing here, and I want you to take your peace out fingers and put them together. That's the distance. Oh, sorry, just one hand. Peace out fingers, put the fingers together so they're closed piece. There you go. Put those fingers in between your 2 feet. That should be the distance of your feet apart from one another. From your, what's that, like a bunion, where your bunions would be if you have any? That's where you want to measure. Perfect. So once you get that stance, go ahead and stand tall again. From here, we're going to just lift all 10 toes up off the ground and spread them. Maybe tap your pinky toes on the ground and then slowly release them back down. And then do that again. Let's go 4 times. Spread, tap the pinky toes, back down. Spread, tap the pinky toes, back down. And at any time, if you get any foot cramps during this, I do apologize. It may happen if you're not used to it, but I promise, let's do one more. The more you do this, the better you get at it. Sometimes our brains are like, I'm telling it to go and it's not going. It will eventually. From here, keep your feet where they are. We're gonna try to get our big toes to kiss. So lifting them up and trying to pull them towards each other to kiss, and then back down. Good, try not to move your heels or your feet at all. Try to get them to kiss and back down. Good, couple more times. Oh, really focus on getting them close to each other. Kiss, 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 kiss. Lateral. Medial, I mean. Good. Let's do one more. And release. Beautiful. From here, let's just go ahead and release some of that tension by coming as high onto your tippy toes as possible. And then back onto your heels. Let's do that 2 more times. As high as you can, and then back down. Good, last one. Up. And down. Yes, beautiful. All right, from here, small bend in your knees, hinge at your hips, small fold all the way forward. Good, hands down to the ground in front of your feet, so bend your knees as much as you need to. From here, I want you to come up high onto your tippy toes in this forward fold. Feeling some calf strength. And then rock back onto your heels. Lift your toes, some calf stretch. And just go back and forth. And remember, I want your hands on the ground, so really bend into your knees if you need. Good. And when you're ready, go ahead, find stillness. And step both feet back into that downward facing dog, pedaling out your feet for the last time. Noticing that angle in the ankle. And when you're ready, go ahead, drop your knees wide, sit back into a child's pose. So tops of the feet on the floor, forehead to the ground. And that's where we're gonna leave it today. If you want to add on to this, I highly suggest getting a ball, whether it be a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, putting it underneath your foot and giving yourself a little bit of massage. That's a great thing to add. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too bad on your feet. I promise you, if the toe kisses or the pinky toe taps are difficult, they will come eventually. Your brain and your toes just need to make that connection again, because so often we're just in shoes all day and we don't use our feet like we should, because our feet should be like hands. Being like having a baby now, I pick up everything with my toes when I can't bend down and reach it. So That's my goal for you as well, and hopefully it'll help you in your boot. If you have any questions or requests, always feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next week.